So there are two thoughts, feelings that I want to chat about. And the first one being about how, again, it's about desperation and working with the cards that you have been dealt. And very little, as I found, is ideal in regards to people. Let's just say people in relationships with people, I think this is the thing for most people in the world today, that again, we come from a lot of complex trauma. We come from a lot of we just ourselves, we're not content. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we're about. Again, we've been brought into the Matrix, into the Truman Show. We don't know what is real, what is not, what is good, what is bad, what is evil, what is good. There's many things that we don't know. We don't know how to navigate ourselves. A lot of our decisions are made through culture and the general masses of behavior, thought, everything, choices, diet, and whatever it might be. And so a lot of products of the system and so on and so forth. And again, living in a culture that is set up and engineered and organized in a way to distract the individual from their own self-discovery or their own life plan or their own direction or anything like that. That's what it's there for, to distract and to amuse and to entertain and waste their life energy. And so again, they're not building on a healthy relationship to themselves, to reality, to truth. They don't know how to be comfortable with sincerity, to be sincere. They don't know how to be comfortable by just being themselves. This applies to me as well to a large degree, obviously. It's what I'm trying to work on and heal on and dedicate my life to. And so what happens is that most of us are operating on a very NPC kind of level, non-player character level, in a sense. So we're not, again, emotionally available, and we are not really truly conscious or awake. Most of the time it's just habitual pattern. We're driven by addiction. We're driven by flashing lights on screens, and whatever it is, we just, So it's not business as usual. I'm not sure if it ever really has been on this planet. It's hard to kind of think about what it might have been like. There were more family values, but they were so strict. Depending which country and depending, which race you're kind of talking about, but they were so strict and there was so much limitation. It's like Amish communities, the whole world is like an Amish community, and you just had to know your place and be very prim and proper in a sense. And, there was no much thought on, whatever, psychology, mysticism, spirituality, consciousness. It was just so much of survival and having to make ends meet and get by. Imagine not living with a refrigerator. We don't take that into account. I see movies of the Wild West, and was it really like it? I'm not quite sure. We don't know. But life was no picnic. When the sun sets, before Thomas Edison and the light bulb, you were using candles, and you were in bed early, and you woke up at the sunrise, and there wasn't much free time, and I don't think life was necessarily easy, and so it was just about survival. And then only recently, in the last decades, a few decades or so, which is, in the whole of human history, I think. Look, I'm not taking sort of other cultures like the Dogon tribes and the Witoto tribes and, shamanic sort of tribal people living with the plant medicines, living within nature. But even so then, it seemed to be I mean, to a degree that it wasn't the majority of people that were operating on more of a conscious level. I think that's been the whole way through time. Again, I've done a talk. I'm not sure if I'm going to upload it or redo it, called Hell. That this is hell, but it's not a bad or good thing. It's like if you go into a movie and it's a thriller, it's a movie. It's I'm not trying to denounce or be indifferent to suffering and pain because, oh, well, it's just a movie, guys. It's just a dream or something like that. I'm not saying that at all, but from the bigger perspective of things, it's obvious that this is a hell in comparison to what the near-death experience people talk about and so on and so forth. There's beauty here. There's this incredible amount of beauty, and I don't think it would be as beautiful if there wasn't such a contrast of ugliness, But this world is based on suffering. Each animal, every being, everything in existence eats something else in order to survive. So it's like destruction has to be sewn into the fabric of existence. Destruction and chaos, it has to be. In order to build, you need to break down to a certain degree. I mean, that's what compost is as well. It's a breaking down. It's maybe like even a violent process to what's going on in the compost heap. Just, I don't know, on some level or other, on a microscopic level, what might be going on there. I mean, and even within our bodies, what's going on with white blood cells and red blood cells and just the whole kind of war that's always raging in our bodies, in a sense, and this constant effort, every second of every day till the day we die, like this kind of fight to keep the immune system going, to keep us healthy, to keep us functioning, and to keep, you know what I'm saying. But it's constant, healing going on all the time. I mean, even nature is constantly growing. It has to grow, otherwise, it dies. The species die if it doesn't grow, if it doesn't push to the limits. Like the salmon, have to swim upstream, and so many of them die, and whatever it might be. It's really rough. It's really tough. I mean, animals have got to experience, like human beings did, like extreme temperatures, of extreme heat, of extreme cold, and whatever it might be. Animals are a little bit more I think, I don't know what the word would be, but they can handle it perhaps maybe better than human beings can, or something like that. But I mean, regardless, it is, and what happens is the Matrix comes along, or the Truman Show comes along, and offers us and the illusion of comfort and safety and security, and direction in life. And, you can be whatever you want to be, whatever you set your mind to. I mean, you told that to somebody, I don't know, 100 years ago, or even 200, whatever it is, they'd be like, what are you talking about? My grandfather was a carpenter, my father was a carpenter, I will be a carpenter. You settle within the village of the people that you marry the girl next door. The idea is to have children, so in order that you have children so that you can, manage to raise the cattle, look after the cattle and raise, manage the farm, and then for them to look after you when you're aging. And now we just put people in old age home, retirement villages, and whatever it is. But so then I'm just saying that options were very limited, and then comes along the 21st century, and it's, we have no idea because we're so immersed in it. And it hasn't been a gradual process. And many of us have just been swept away within it all. But at the same time, there has been conversations happening like the one that we're having here. Relationships that are being built, that are more sincere, that is happening here. I mean, I don't know you, I know we're not, whatever it is, but there's relationship to consciousness and what we share, with one another. And there is more accessibility to information, which is crucial. There is more, to a certain degree, because of we're not having to hunt for our food. and we don't have to, we can have time to sit and contemplate and research and information from different cultures across the world, different plant medicines, different philosophies, different ideologies, different whatever it might be from all around the world, and much more. But at the same time, it's like sort of neck and neck, and that's where I find myself, like every day, against the grind of evolving on a conscious, spiritual, whatever that means, level, and then having to scrape the bottom of the barrel in regards to connecting with others, or just witnessing others. It's an absolute state of despair. If you're really sensitive and you're seeing others, it's not like, oh, they're just sheeple, they're zombies and they're NPCs and therefore they, disposables or just whatever, at times we do feel that way. They're so stupid, they're so trailer park trash, they're so childish, they're just so grotesque, they're such a embarrassment to the human race, embarrassment to what a father should be or a mother should be. They don't represent real, responsible grown-ups and everything else. So what my point being is that and not like sort of godly people at all as well. And godly just means like universally in touch or in tune or or humbled or something and so much more. But my point is for myself is that what does it mean to, I was thinking about this while doing the dishes, like, you'll hear a woman talk about, she's with her husband and she's like ecstatic over the fact that he doesn't beat her up anymore or beat on the kids anymore. Although he just sits now and drinks in front of the TV, doesn't help with the dishes, doesn't help putting the children to bed. He loses his temper all the time, but, thank the heavens that he doesn't beat us. And we're good with that. We're really having to make do with for me personally, and I think for some of you as well, with really the bare minimum of what we have. And for me, that's what is my greatest challenge. There's no question about it. Having to make do with the lack of others in my life, or one or two in particular, just people, like even my father, and we're not really involved in each other's lives in a way, but just looking at the kind of person that he is, or my brothers, or my friends that I grew up with, the people that I'm around, and witnessing and observing. And I'm saying with my father, I don't really need a relationship, but it would be nice if I had one, where he could give me life advice. But gee whiz, if I took his advice, I'd land up walking off a cliff, forget about it. So for me, in one particular relationship for myself, I'm severely overlooked. And, the person, she just is not capable. And again, for myself, I did this talk last night about how I've put her on a pedestal, or I've just been lucky. I've just been blessed. I just feel so fortunate if I can, get a good night and a good morning type of thing. Although I've gone the extra mile, and, even with my father, like, and this is the thing that I'm saying as well, is that even, okay, this is the next sort of talk or point, I would say thought. What I'm finding is that there's two different kind of people. There's somebody, well, to a degree, there's someone like my mother, that when I talk to her, she understands what I'm saying, and I can feel it sink in, right? I can feel she's present, I can feel that she walks away and she thinks about, not everything, but there's an impact that's made in her. And for her, I'm just kind of giving an analogy. I'm just thinking of this. When someone's climbing a wall and they're just slipping all the time because there's nowhere that they can really there's no ledges or things that they can put their feet on to push up from. It's like, or to grab with their hands. And they're trying to climb, let's say, the side of a cliff, but it's just smooth. And so they manage to get like a few fingers on a grip on, like an edge of a part of a rock that's thick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what these, I'm sure there are terms for it. And yet they're just kind of like scraping like a dog trying to, and they can't get up. They make it maybe like a couple of, centimeters or inches, whatever it might be, up, and then boom, they fall down again. And they don't actually, they don't have a leverage, they don't have anywhere to really sink their foot like comfortably, that it can, they can put like up to half of their foot on something sticking out, I don't know what you want to call it, and push up from that, and then grab onto something else, and then pull up and pull up and pull up. So that's what I find. Like with my mother, she's able to do that to a degree. But besides from my mother, I don't know anybody else. I don't really see it with anybody else. So even with my father, or even with whoever in my life besides for my mother, that I find that they're not able to really climb. They can't, they can't get off the ground. So even my point is with the analogy, my point is that even if I said to my father and I said, listen, Dad, time is ticking, you're 73 years old, I'm going to be 43, time is ticking, and you know what, I just would like a relationship with you. I'd like to make some effort. I'd like for you to phone me like at least once a week and just say, hey, how's your day been, and what's going on with you, how are you managing, how are your finances, what happened with that person, or just something, even, and to WhatsApp messages or send a picture. Oh, I'm in Australia, I'm here with your brother, and here's a picture of us, and we're really missing you, and I said to, and I asked him to do that. Firstly, he wouldn't know how to do it because it's not emotionally, like I say, available. Can't emotionally connect. It's too much. That is too real for him. That's too authentic for him. He doesn't know how to reach out emotionally. He's underdeveloped, completely emotionally underdeveloped. So how is he going to do that? So, but I'm asking him, like I'm pleading because, well, okay, I don't want to get too tied into this. I mean, I just never know who comes across my channels. But I'm saying as children, and I see my brothers, and it's very important. Like, Dad, you have to. And I remember one guy, Gareth, and really he was a bit of a sort of different kind of guy, a bit of a hippie or something like that. And his father was actually friends with my father, and Gareth wanted really to spend time with his father. He's like desperate, Dad, I really want to connect with you. Gareth was a few years older than me, so Gareth lived in Cape Town. So his father came to Cape Town for business, and what Gareth did was he drove out like an hour out of the city to some kind of hiking spot. And he phoned his father. He said, Dad, I'm so sorry, but my car's broken down. So his father got in the car, okay, don't worry, Gareth, I'll be there, and drove to sort of help him out. When he arrived by Gareth said, look, my car is fine, Dad. I just honestly, our whole lives, I just really want to walk with you. Just you and me with our cell phones off, just father and son, let's just do it. And Gareth's father's not alive today. He died of cancer like 4 years ago. And this was before his father was sick. But that's to the degree that Gareth did. And maybe Gareth's father was not impressed with him. He was like, this is not right, my boy. I've got work to do. There's not time for play. Because that's what it is. It's play. It's unnecessary. Again, we're such big deals as human beings. And you see these guys in the UFC and really tough guys. And this is so much on YouTube of these videos of these massive, huge men And that's what it's like. I mean, I know that they're not saying that's what it's like to be a man, but it's like on an emotional level, how vulnerable can you be? You know, how supporting of others can you be? How can you really be? Because you'd be like, yo, I'm a great father. Say to your 2-year-old, yo, I jump him on my lap and I'm kuchiku and I wake him, you know, he wakes me up in the middle of the night and I go and I hold him and I put him back to sleep. I'll say, great. You can get like an AI robot to do that now. You know, I mean, not really, but you know what I'm saying. But when it gets more complicated and the personality develops and there's so much more, anyways, you get what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that most people that I feel that they are not able to absorb, they're not able to integrate. So even if I said this to my father, he would say, okay boy, no, I hear what you're saying and you're 100% right. If I tell him the story of what happened with Gareth, you know, and Ronnie, that was his name, Ronnie, his father's name was Ronnie. And like really he meant that, and look, you know, Ronnie's not alive anymore, Dad. My father will hate to hear that. He'll be like, oh man, like why you, come on dude, like this is so heavy, man. You know, even when I do talk to him on the phone, when I do phone him like once every month or 2 months or sometimes 3 months, he has the phone on loudspeaker and he's, you know, my stepmom is sitting there and he doesn't tell you that you're on loudspeaker. Only like, oh, you're on loudspeaker? Yeah. Towards the end or something like that. And he's sitting in front of the TV. I mean, it's not like he can even switch off the TV, sit up for a little bit, you know, and just concentrate. Yeah, but I'm not delusional. I'm not delusional when it comes to my father. I'm not. But I am delusional when it comes to this lady in my life. Well, I have been, and it's been very, very extreme to see the reality, to really accept it. Like I keep saying this, and this is what I think, why I'm talking to you people as well, why I'm sharing this, is that also in your lives you might be doing the same thing, and it's very costly, and we're wasting a lot of time and energy, and we're fooling ourselves and deluding ourselves, and we're getting lost within that. And you know, it's very dangerous. It is very, very dangerous, you know, because it's also not self-respecting. What I'm saying is that we've got to stop bringing ourselves down to the level like that woman. She says, oh, well, my husband, he doesn't beat us anymore, so we're relieved and we're happy, and you know, but otherwise he's really just you know, so taking the bottom of the barrel, taking the real just pissed on breadcrumbs, as Matt McKenzie says from Quantum of Conscience, you know. That's what we take and be like, yeah, that's great. And that's what the world offers us all the time, whether it's Trump or Biden, Coke or Pepsi, Samsung, whatever. It's just they really offer us the lowest of the low, and people just eat it up and feel like, yeah. So I'm just saying that life can't be, we can't feel enriched in life if we are operating at a level where we are sinking ourselves very low, and we're deluding ourselves very, very low. We're putting ourselves down that we don't feel that we do deserve more, or that we shouldn't just put up, you know, or not just put up with, because again, you can't change these people. I can't change my father. I can't change him. I've seen people experiences in life, like my brothers and friends, whatever, and they have these tremendous experiences of whatever it is. Nothing sits with them. Everything is like almost like just drinking water. They drink it and they piss it out. Excuse me. They drink it, they piss it. All experience. They have a child. They get married. They lose their job. They I don't know. And on every level, you just meet them year after year, and it's exactly the same kind of person. You know, with my cousin, he's got 5 children. He moved to London. There's nothing, you know, about him that's changed from, well, he's lost more of his sense of humor. He's lost more of his confidence. You see, that's what does change within these people. They just become more sullen. They become more anxious. And that's my point, is that all these people that I'm talking of are anxious all of the time. They're just not aware of it. They are anxious all of the time. They are restless all of the time, unless they're like drunk or on drugs or something like that. But from a mind state of view, they are completely and utterly anxious all of the time. They really are, and they're suffering and they don't even know it. But again, with Eckhart will come along and will just say, well, you're suffering because of your perception and your mind and the thoughts, because your thinking is causing you to suffer. That's what he'll say, and therefore you've got to, be in the present moment. And I'm not just saying that Eckhart talks about this, but the whole spiritual community, this whatever you want to call it, Oprah Winfrey side of things and whatever, speak about the same thing. It's the same thing. Never getting to the root of the problem. Never getting root because people don't want that. People want some kind of quick fix and then believe and convince themselves. That's what people believe, that transitioning, growth and healing is an easy thing. They don't realize it's a whole lifetime of work. They don't realize that it's harder to grow, that it's harder to heal than it is to live inauthentically. And they make it as something like it's almost fun, or it's kitschy, or it's, it's something like I'm going to the gym and I'm focusing on getting a six-pack, or an abs, whatever you want to call it, or I'm working on my triceps and it's a goal in mind, and I'm updating people on it on my vlog, and but it's more like it's just show and tell. It's not real guts and gore of what it really is. So again, these people aren't going to change. My father is not going to change. This woman in my life is not going to change. Why? Because they don't want to. Maybe it's not their time. And the thing is that you can't make them. No matter how much I have thought that you can bring the horse to the water, you cannot make it drink. You just cannot do it. You just cannot do it. If they don't decide, if they haven't decided, and for themselves, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing. You could torture them and it won't make a difference. Because there's something within them that needs to be self-motivated in order for it to happen. I watched the movie Spaceman, and I can really recommend it. It's a bit slow, but it's very interesting. It doesn't matter that it's slow. It's very well put together. I personally liked it. Didn't get a good rating with Adam Sandler. But the idea is that it goes to show what the death rebirth process is, to actually realize, what consciousness is and how you're living your life, and how you're living it perhaps with not the right motivations or intentions, or you're hurting others, you're letting other people down, but you're too stubborn, you're too stuck in your head. It's all about you. That's exactly it with Spaceman. It was all about Adam Sandler. It was all about himself. All about himself, and not about, his pregnant wife, who had previously, lost a child. And now he's abandoning her. You'll know this, to go off to space, or to go beyond Mars, to find out what it is that he needs to find. And what does he find there? Himself. That's not what he's going for. He finds himself. He finds his true self, and he realizes that I don't want to ruin the movie for you, but you could probably work it out from the trailer. It doesn't matter. It's not so you can, this is great, and Aaron ruined the movie for me. That's not the point. Watch it one time, watch it 2 times, watch it 3 times, 4 times. Listen to the dialogue of what Manuk, I don't know what its name is, is saying. I don't know what the name is, but listen to the dialogue. Listen to the emotion, listen to the rawness, feel the intention. Adam Sandler is brilliant in this. Brilliant. The music is fantastic with it. Fantastic. It's not over the top. It's not like Gravity or something like that. It's very, very, very good. And the most important thing is that it shows the death rebirth process of somebody, of what you have to go through in order to achieve to gain an opportunity, an option, like the where you can change and grow, where you can properly heal, and you can actually start climbing that wall, or that cliff, or whatever it is, or that mountain side. Whatever it might be, the rock. That's what you got to go through. Otherwise, these people are just, playing around in the kiddie pool. Even the spiritual community and the New Age and whatever it is, and people even that I took ayahuasca and I did this and I done this and I done whatever it might be, all of this, and you go to the trance parties and the people are all dressed up and the Burning Man and all of this stuff, and it's great, it's imagination, it's creativity, and it is, but it's missing so much, I feel. It's missing so much. It's people taking massive amounts of substances, checking out, and just to pounding music. Fine, do it, but where is something that's going to impress upon you, that's going to help you heal, that's going to help you disconnect more from the matrix, that's going to help you on your journey of life and make it meaningful? Is it just a memory? You take photos, you dressed up like a scorpion, and your girlfriend dressed up as a peacock, and you thumped around on the sand and and you just jumped and you took some acid and you saw these weird shapes, man, and it just felt so good. Yeah, we were so blissed out, man. But what did you take from it? What did you take from it? Like that's it. People watch movies. What do you take from them? People watch Truman Show. What do you take from it? Watch The Matrix. What do you take from it? Dude, it's just entertainment. You're not taking anything from it, and you're not integrating it into your life. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. So we got to really be realistic with the people and where they're holding. I got to be really realistic. Do you know how long it's taken me? And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a whole change of attitude. It's a whole change of perception. Just like I spoke about, like having a personal relationship with God. Or believing that there is a God, or believing that there is a life after death, and you live that way. You don't just hear it one time, oh, I believe now. No, you integrate that into your life. Every day. Let's say with life after death. Every day, not just think about, like when I spoke to my brother about it, he's like, I don't know, I like to think that there is. But even if I told him, and I had an experience, I said to my brother, and I said, there is life after death. There 100% is. He will still not be able to grasp the concept of it. He hasn't got the ability to. It'll take a long time when he's living his life, with the idea of life after death and what goes on, and the mystery and the curiosity of it, and how infinite it all is. So it's the same thing with understanding where people are holding, not that they're just NPCs and they're zombies and whatever it is. But on a relationship level, or a witnessing and whatever it might be, to understand really and appreciate, to not overly invest, to not, oh man, with this woman, I used to write her letters and emails and WhatsApp messages, something whatever, and I never even sent it, but I'd spend like hours and hours writing it, and then I knew she didn't want to hear what I had to say. Oh, because she was behaving very poorly, or she was just letting me down all the time, or just not reciprocating anything. And I would write, and she would just lose it with me for no reason, because she's got a little bit of, BPD, borderline personality disorder, which I thought she really recovered from within a good couple of months, which was not true. She is a whole lot better. And also when she did make the changes, I was like, wow, I can't believe it. You've done like a 180. We're from a 180. She still lives in perpetual fear all the time, anxiety all the time. She can't be reached or spoken with, or you can't. Even if I say certain things to her, she'll be like, okay, I'm really going to try, and I'm sorry. She'll try for 24 hours and the gig is up. They can't, it's not significant. They can't integrate. There isn't almost a self there. And that's the thing, is that if there isn't a self that hasn't been, died and born, gone and had the death rebirth or whatever it might be, into the self hasn't been activated. So it's almost like, when you switch on your computer and you write, you're writing on Word, let's just say, or Notepad. You're writing on Notepad, and what you do is you just switch off your computer. You don't save it. What's going to happen? It's going to disappear, right? You can write out a whole book. You can spend a year, let's say, if your computer stays on for that long, on a Word document. And let's say there's no sort of there's no restore. Literally, it's gone. And that's what it's like. Or like you're playing a game on your phone, And every time you get off the toilet from playing your phone or whatever it is, and the levels, you don't actually go up in the level. It doesn't actually save it. It doesn't save it, so you just start on the same level all the time. And that's what it's like for people, that I'm talking about when there's no self. If there's no self, there's no way to save the experience, for the experience to impact them deeply, and then for that to be transformational, for them to integrate it, and then, and help them change their lives and heal themselves and whatever it might be, and help them grow and achieve and move forward, right, in more sincere ways. Not just because you changed your name now to Prana, and that you, shaved your head with a little ponytail at the back, left a little bit of hair, like whatever it is. And now, you know what I'm saying? Or that you started yoga, or you started meditating, or you started reading Wayne Dyer or Eckhart Tolle or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or you're doing your arm meditations, or you're doing whatever it is. So unless there's self that has to be there and concrete, and concretized, I don't know if that's a word, and fully established, and that's what happens, that you're feeding the self, you're feeding the soul, if you will, and there's real proper progress, there's real proper development on a psychological, emotional level, on a spiritual level, whereby you're able then to have more, you have a richer experience of life. You are in relationship to nature more so, to the sunsets, your relationship more to your own pain, your own suffering, your own very existence, your own very experience of that you will die one day, emotional experience to death, not just as an idea, but as an emotional experience, on emotional level. And then the emotions, this is what I'm talking about, the emotions, the richness comes out, right? The richness and connection to life. And that's what helps us and saves us from the abyss and from the feeling of void. And that's what I'm talking about when I mentioned that all these people that haven't got the self, that haven't established the self yet, are in constant anxiety, because they're constantly on that same level, playing it over and over and over and over again, and not progressing. And again, just ending off on this, it's not, we have to be responsible, I have to be responsible, Aaron has to be responsible. And when he comes across people, and just because they've done pretty well in the first level, not to say, wow, they've really progressed, they've really, self is engaged, they're really impacting, now I can really talk to them, now they can really understand where I'm coming from, now we're really building something together, a relationship, they have my back, they're going to help me out, they're going to come to the party, they're going to see, help me when I'm emotionally vulnerable and not judge me, or not feel safe and with me, and they can open up to me and I can open up to them, and we can actually build something significant. Just because people get married doesn't mean that they have built a thing of significance whatsoever. On the surface level, all they did was sign a piece of paper, they danced in front of a lot of people, they paid a lot of money for an event, they got some toasters and microwave ovens and whatever it is, and that's all that they've done. They've done they've done nothing else really, just on the surface of things. That's what they've done. They've said some words to each other perhaps, or whatever it might be, that were just written again. Oxford Dictionary describes love as, what have they really done? What people should do is, we should have weddings for people, again, at 50 years old, and you should go and actually, go through what has the relationship, and let the husband talk and the wife talk sincerely about how they feel that the marriage has grown or it hasn't grown, what it's been like to be married to the person, what they love about them, what they hate about them, and those kind of things, something that's really grown. We celebrate too early with marriage. We celebrate too early with most things, So that's what I'm saying, ending off, is to be very deadly seriously realistic, that even though for myself, I want a relationship with my father, I want a relationship with this lady in my life, because she's all I have. I can't meet other people because everybody else is on NPC level. Everybody else that I meet, and I go out and I try and I meet people, but I just find I'm meeting the same person over and over again. without any self. And they can't offer me anything. And I can't really offer them anything, because the people that I've involved myself with in my life, and I've been there and I've tried to make an impact on their life, and I've given them the springboard and the access and the love and the support financially, psychologically, emotionally. They did nothing with it but wipe their ass, put it in the toilet and flushed. That's what they did. And I'm not going to make that mistake again. If I can go back and I can tell myself, go back 12 years time before I went to live on the farm with all those other people, this is what I would have said to myself. I wouldn't have understood it at the time though. If I had to go back and tell myself, you say, look, buddy, this is deadly serious. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. And have more self-belief in yourself and the things that you really are good at. You really do good talks for YouTube. If people don't want to make it to the end because they get distracted by, a video about how to pick up, woman under the age of whatever, or some other crap that the system throws at us, then that's their shtick. If they want to go and listen to Eckhart Tolle, then that's their thing. If you get 25 listeners, then you get 25 listeners. These are quality, high quality people. And that's what it's about. Don't give yourself a hard time. Don't sell yourself short, and don't sell yourself for less, and don't accept less than what you are worth. This is huge for me. Huge, huge, huge for me, because I just feel like, again, I don't deserve so much. I have no sense of entitlement. I feel, because of my childhood and my trauma that I spoke about in my last recording. There's so much to chat about, isn't there? There's so much to chat about. There really is. There really is. All right. We'll end off on that. Thanks so much. Cheers.